Welcome to Farmtips Diary. A century ago, chickens scratched through farmyards eating whatever they could find. Insects, seeds, kitchen scraps, and occasional grain. Today, broiler chickens reach market weight in 6 weeks on scientifically formulated feeds optimized down to the amino acid level. This is the story of how chicken feed transformed from barnyard foraging into precision nutrition systems, and how emerging technologies promise another revolution in what poultry eat, the backyard forager era. Understanding traditional chicken feeding reveals just how radically modern systems differ from historical practices that persisted for thousands of years until mid-20th century. In the 1920s, most American families kept a few chickens in backyard flocks. These birds weren't fed in the modern sense. They foraged through yards, gardens, and fields, consuming whatever edible materials they encountered. Insects, worms, grass, seeds, and kitchen scraps formed the bulk of their diet. Farmers might scatter some grain, usually cracked corn or wheat, but chickens largely fed themselves. This foraging system meant chickens grew slowly and laid sporadically. A hen might take 6 months to reach eating size and weigh only 2 to 3 pounds dressed. Egg production averaged 100 to 150 eggs per year with breaks during molting and winter. These modest results reflected the nutritionally incomplete, inconsistent diets chickens consumed. Protein sources came primarily from insects and worms. Chickens hunted. This animal protein provided essential amino acids plant foods lacked. Chickens with good access to insects performed better than those limited to plant materials. Farmers understood intuitively that chickens needed range for protein, though they didn't understand the biochemistry behind it. Calcium for eggshells came from whatever sources chickens could find: limestone chips, oyster shells if available near coasts, or simply inadequate amounts, leading to thin-shelled eggs. Many farmers crushed eggshells and fed them back to hens, recycling calcium. But calcium deficiency was common, limiting egg production and quality. Vitamins were invisible and unrecognized. Chickens often suffered deficiencies that farmers attributed to other causes. Vitamin A deficiency from lack of green forage caused respiratory problems. Vitamin D deficiency led to weak bones and poor eggs. These problems appeared seasonally as feed availability changed, but the nutritional connection wasn't understood. Feed storage barely existed. Farmers kept modest amounts of grain in bins, but most chicken feed was consumed fresh from foraging. The concept of complete feeds formulated to provide all nutrients didn't exist because the understanding of nutrition requirements hadn't developed. Commercial egg and meat production was minimal. Most chickens were dual-purpose breeds that laid some eggs and eventually provided meat. The idea of specialized broilers bred only for meat or layers bred only for eggs hadn't emerged. Genetic potential far exceeded what random foraging diets could support. The science of formulated feeds mid-century transformation began when researchers identified specific nutritional requirements and feed manufacturers created products delivering complete nutrition in every bite. Amino acid research in the 1940s and 50s revolutionized poultry nutrition. Scientists discovered that chickens require specific amino acids, particularly methionine and lysine, that plant proteins don't provide an ideal ratio. Crystalline amino acids became available to supplement feeds, allowing perfect protein balance without expensive animal proteins. This breakthrough enabled the rise of soybean meal as poultry's primary protein source, while soy protein is incomplete alone. Supplementing it with synthetic methionine creates nutritionally complete protein cheaper than animal sources like fish meal or meat scraps. This cost reduction made commercial poultry production economically viable at scale. Vitamin and mineral premixes emerged as commercial products. Feed mills could add precisely formulated supplements, ensuring every batch contained required micronutrients. Vitamin A, D, E, and B complex vitamins became standard additions. Trace minerals including selenium, zinc, and copper were included at optimal levels. This eliminated the deficiencies that limited historical production. Energy and protein requirements were quantified for different growth stages. Researchers established that chicks need high protein for rapid growth, while older birds need more energy and less protein. This led to multi-phase feeding programs using starter, grower, and finisher rations optimized for each stage. The one-size-fits-all approach of scattering grain disappeared. Pelleting technology improved feed efficiency by 10 to 15%. Processing feed into uniform pellets reduced waste, improved digestibility, and prevented selective eating where chickens consumed preferred ingredients while avoiding others. Pellets also allowed precise inclusion of vitamins and medicines that chickens might avoid in mash form. Antibiotics entered poultry feeds in the 1950s, initially as growth promoters. Subtherapeutic doses improved feed conversion by suppressing subclinical infections that consumed energy without causing obvious disease. This practice became standard despite later controversy about antimicrobial resistance. The efficiency gains were too substantial for profit-driven producers to ignore. Coccidiosts controlling parasitic intestinal infections became essential for high-density production. Coccidiosis devastated flocks before effective prevention. These feed additives allowed crowding birds into confined housing without disease outbreaks that would otherwise occur. This enabled the industrial production model. The results were astonishing. Broiler chickens that took 4 months to reach 3 pounds in 1925 reached 6 pounds in 6 weeks by 1975. Layer hens that produced 150 eggs annually laid 280 eggs by the same period. Feed conversion improved from 5 pounds of feed per pound of gain to less than 2 pounds. This transformation resulted more from nutrition than genetics. Though both contributed, the global commodity system late 20th century poultry feeding became integrated into global commodity markets that source ingredients from around the world, optimizing costs through international trade. Corn and soybeans dominate modern poultry diets because they're produced at massive scale in optimized growing regions, then shipped globally. Chickens in Europe, Asia, and Africa often eat feed containing American or Brazilian ingredients. This global sourcing reduces costs while creating dependencies on international supply chains. Corn provides energy cheaply because American production efficiency makes it the most economical calorie source worldwide. Breeding programs maximized corn yields while mechanization reduced production costs. The result is a crop perfect for converting solar energy into chicken growth at minimal expense. No alternative energy source competes economically with corn. Soybeans supply protein for similar reasons. Brazilian expansion and American production created global surpluses driving prices down. Soy meal, the protein-rich byproduct after oil extraction, became too cheap for any alternative to compete. The combination of corn and soy, supplemented with amino acids and vitamins, became the universal poultry diet globally. Feed mills arose as specialized industries separate from farms. These facilities purchase ingredients in bulk, formulate precisely, and deliver complete feeds to poultry operations. Vertical integration in poultry means the same companies often control breeding, feed manufacturing, growing contracts with farmers, and processing. This integration optimizes the entire system for efficiency. Alternative ingredients entered feeds as opportunities arose. Distillers' grains from ethanol production, bakery waste, rice bran, wheat milk, and numerous byproducts supplement or partially replace corn and soy. Feed formulation software instantly recalculates optimal recipes as ingredient prices fluctuate, always finding the cheapest combination meeting nutritional specifications. Seasonal and regional variations disappeared. Traditional feeding relied on locally available, seasonally varying ingredients. Modern systems deliver identical nutrition year-round regardless of location. A chicken in Thailand eats essentially the same diet as one in Arkansas, sourced from similar global commodities. This standardization enables consistent production. The economic efficiency is remarkable. Feed costs around 30 cents per pound of chicken produced. This includes corn, soy, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, processing, and delivery. No other protein source for human consumption achieves comparable efficiency. This cost advantage explains why chicken consumption increased faster than any other meat over the past 50 years. Sustainability challenges and responses recent years brought intense scrutiny of feed systems, environmental and ethical impacts, driving research into alternatives that maintain efficiency while reducing footprints. Soybean production links to deforestation in Brazil, where rainforest and cerrado grasslands are cleared for agriculture. Much of this soy feeds chickens globally. This connection between poultry consumption and habitat destruction concerns environmentalists and some consumers. Pressure is mounting for certified deforestation-free soy. Overfishing threatens marine ecosystems, yet fish meal remains a premium protein source in some poultry feeds despite costs. Anchovies, sardines, and other species are harvested at unsustainable rates to produce fish meal for agriculture. While poultry uses far less than aquaculture, the practice contributes to ocean depletion. Antibiotic resistance concerns led to bans or severe restrictions on subtherapeutic antibiotic use in many countries. The EU banned growth promoting antibiotics in 2006. The US restricted them in 2017. These changes forced reformulating feeds and adopting alternative health management strategies. Production efficiency declined slightly but adapted. Water and land footprints of corn and soy production are substantial. These crops require vast acreage and irrigation, while chickens convert feed more efficiently than cattle. The total resource use is still enormous, given billions of birds raised annually. Reducing feed resource intensity could significantly improve sustainability. Nitrogen and phosphorus excretion from poultry operations pollute waterways. Chickens excrete nutrients they can't digest or absorb. Precision formulation reduces excess by providing exactly what birds need, but further improvement requires better nutrient digestibility or different ingredients. Genetic modification of feed crops raises concerns for some consumers. Most corn and soy in poultry feeds are GMO varieties, valued for higher yields and herbicide tolerance. While scientifically proven safe, some market segments demand non-GMO feed, limiting sourcing options and increasing costs. These pressures drive research into alternative ingredients and feeding strategies that maintain poultry production while reducing environmental and ethical concerns. The next generation of feeds will need to address these issues while remaining economically competitive. The alternative protein revolution, emerging feed ingredients and technologies promise to transform poultry nutrition as dramatically as synthetic amino acids did 70 years ago, potentially decoupling poultry from traditional feed crops. Insect protein from black soldier fly larvae is commercializing rapidly. These insects efficiently convert organic waste into high-quality protein suitable for poultry. Nutrient profiles closely match fish meal, making insects ideal for partial or complete fish meal replacement. Several companies operate industrial-scale insect farms specifically for animal feed. Production costs are declining as technology improves and scale increases. Current insect protein costs more than soy meal, but less than fish meal. As production scales further, insects may become competitive with conventional proteins while using a fraction of the land and water. Chickens naturally eat insects, making acceptance in feed formulations straightforward. Algae and microalgae offer another protein alternative. Species like spirulina and chlorella contain 50 to 70% protein with excellent amino acid profiles. Algae grows in tanks or ponds, requiring minimal land, and some species thrive in saltwater, unsuitable for crops. While currently expensive, optimization could make algae competitive, especially for specialized markets. Single-cell proteins produced through precision fermentation represent potentially revolutionary technology. Microorganisms convert simple feedstocks like methane, carbon dioxide, or plant sugars into protein. This biotechnology could produce protein without agriculture, dramatically reducing resource use. Several startups are developing products initially for aquaculture but scalable to poultry. Rendered animal byproducts traditionally used in poultry feed are being optimized. Modern rendering recovers edible proteins from slaughter waste that historically went to landfills. While not vegetarian, this circular approach prevents waste while providing nutrition. Processing improvements make these proteins more digestible and consistent than old meat and bone meals. Alternative grains including sorghum, millet, and ancient wheats could diversify feeds beyond corn and soy monoculture. These crops suit different climates and require fewer inputs than conventional grains. While not match corn's efficiency, diversification could improve resilience and reduce dependence on single crop systems. Enzyme supplements improve nutrient digestibility from existing ingredients. Phytase releases phosphorus from grain phytic acid that chickens can't digest naturally, reducing both phosphorus supplementation needs and excretion. Proteases and carbohydrases improve protein and energy digestion. These enzymes allow extracting more nutrition from the same ingredients. Probiotics and prebiotics are entering mainstream feeds. These products optimize gut microbiomes, improving nutrient absorption and immune function, as antibiotic restrictions limit growth promoters. Microbial supplements provide alternatives that maintain efficiency through gut health rather than pathogen suppression. The future likely involves portfolios of ingredients rather than single replacements. Optimal feeds might contain corn, soy, insect protein, algae enzymes, and probiotics in proportions optimized by AI for cost, performance, and sustainability. This diversity could provide resilience against supply disruptions while addressing environmental concerns. What the next generation holds looking forward. Several trends seem likely to shape how chickens are fed over coming decades, though uncertainties remain about which technologies will dominate. Artificial intelligence will optimize formulations continuously based on real-time data. Systems will monitor chicken performance, ingredient prices, digestibility, and environmental factors, adjusting recipes daily or hourly rather than periodically. This dynamic optimization could improve efficiency by 5 to 10% beyond current static formulations. Personalized nutrition based on genetic lines seems probable. Different chicken breeds have varying nutrient requirements. Broilers optimized for rapid growth need different ratios than layers bred for egg production. Future feeds might be line-specific or even flock-specific, precisely matching genetics to nutrition. Climate-adapted ingredients will emerge as traditional crop regions face heat and drought. Poultry feeds might shift toward ingredients suited to changing conditions. Drought-tolerant grains, heat-resistant protein crops, or synthetically produced nutrients independent of agriculture. This adaptation ensures feed availability despite climate disruption. Cellular agriculture producing cultured nutrients could eliminate agricultural sourcing entirely for some feed components. Precision fermentation already produces vitamins and amino acids. Expanding this to complete proteins or fats could decouple feeds from farmland, though costs must decline dramatically for viability. Reduced reliance on South American soy seems likely as alternatives scale and deforestation pressure intensifies. European poultry already uses less soy than American operations. This trend could accelerate globally, driven by both environmental concerns and supply chain resilience desires. Regulatory restrictions on ingredients, additives, or practices will continue evolving. Future feeds must navigate changing antibiotic rules, GMO policies, animal welfare requirements, and environmental regulations. This regulatory landscape will shape what's permissible as much as what's technically optimal. Consumer preferences increasingly influence feeding practices. Organic, non-GMO, and antibiotic-free markets are growing despite higher costs. Some consumers will pay premiums for chickens fed alternative ingredients like insects or algae. Market segmentation could lead to diverse feeding strategies, targeting different consumer values. The unknown wildcards include breakthrough technologies not yet conceived, sudden policy shifts, or resource crises forcing rapid adaptation. The history of poultry feeding is one of unexpected innovations repeatedly transforming what seemed settled. The next century will likely bring changes we cannot currently imagine. Recap: traditional backyard chickens foraged for insects, seeds, and scraps, taking 6 months to reach eating size while laying 100 to 150 eggs yearly. Mid-century science brought formulated feeds with balanced amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that enabled 6-week broilers and 280 egg layers. Global commodity systems made corn and soy universal ingredients, providing energy and protein at unmatched efficiency. Sustainability concerns now drive alternatives, including insect meal, algae protein, precision fermentation, and enzyme supplements that reduce environmental footprints while maintaining performance. The next generation of feeds will likely integrate AI optimization, climate-adapted ingredients, cellular agriculture, and alternative proteins in diverse formulations tailored to genetics and markets. Regulatory and consumer pressures will continue shaping what chickens eat as much as nutritional science. Throughout this evolution, the goal remains feeding billions of birds efficiently while addressing environmental and ethical concerns that didn't exist when chickens scratched through farmyards a century ago. If this journey through poultry nutrition history gave you perspective on agricultural transformation, give this video a like and share it with anyone curious about where our food comes from. Subscribe to Farmtips Diary for more explorations of how farming evolves across time. Hit that notification bell so you never miss insights into agriculture's past, present, and future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.